Genesis 15. God passed between pieces. Only God walked the covenant path. Jesus fulfills it alone. If salvation is by works, then why did God walk alone? Genesis 15 isn't just a story, it's a legal contract, a blood covenant, a binding oath between the infinite God and a finite man named Abram. But what happens in this chapter shatters every human expectation, every religious system, every claim that man must meet God halfway. Because in this sacred scene, only one figure walks the covenant path. And it isn't Abram. Let that sink in. This isn't symbolic fluff. This is how ancient covenants were sealed. Two parties would slaughter animals, split the carcasses in half, and walk together between the pieces. The message was loud and brutal. If I break this covenant, may I become like these torn bodies. But in Genesis 15, Abram never walks. He falls into a deep sleep. A dread darkness comes over him, and God himself appears, not as a man, not as an angel, but as a smoking furnace and a burning lamp. And he alone walks the path between the bloody halves. Alone. Skeptics explain this. If Abraham's faith was based on mutual agreement, why didn't he walk the path with God? Why didn't God require Abraham to take even a single step? Pastors, why don't you preach this with fire? Imams, if the Torah is true, as the Quran affirms, why does your system still require man to balance his own scales? Genesis 15 shows the exact opposite. Priests, if sacraments can bridge the gap, then why didn't God let Abram walk? Because grace doesn't need your help. This covenant is different. It's not, if you obey, I will bless. It's, I will do this, or I will die. And that's exactly what Jesus did. Jesus is the burning lamp. Jesus is the smoking furnace. Jesus is the one who passed between the pieces, knowing full well that mankind would fail to keep faith. He took both sides of the agreement upon himself. He bore the penalty of our betrayal, and at the cross he became the torn sacrifice. Blood was spilled, not Abraham's, but God's. No other religion dares say this. Islam commands submission, but offers no savior. Catholicism offers rituals, but not the finished work. The cults demand effort, performance, works. But Genesis 15 leaves no room for pride, no ladder to climb. God walked alone. The covenant was unilateral, irrevocable, sealed in blood before Sinai, before the law, before Moses, before circumcision. It was grace, pure, undeserved, sovereign grace, and Jesus Christ is the only one worthy to fulfill it. Look again at the pieces, the torn flesh, the blood-soaked soil, the pathway of death. It all points to Calvary, to Golgotha, to the broken body of the Son of God. He walked the path. He bore the curse. He upheld the promise. And you dare say salvation can be earned? You dare say Jesus was just a prophet? You dare say man can redeem himself? Then walk the path of blood yourself. See if you survive, but you won't, because you can't. Only God could walk it, and only God did. So now the choice is yours. Either trust in the one who bore it all, or reject him and face the covenant curse yourself. Genesis 15 was not a moment in history. It was a shadow of eternity, a revelation of a God who would rather be torn in two than break his promise to save. This is not religion. This is redemption, and it leaves no room for another way.